Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Business Building Basics for the Caregiving Professional. And today we are going to focus on visibility. I want to thank you for your patience because I was having technical difficulties, but I am not now. So I would love to share some housekeeping details. So if you go on to streamyard.com/Facebook, you'll be able to sign up for that and we will be able to see who is commenting on this presentation right now. And as most of you know, I am somebody who coaches people coming out later in life. And so if you want to hear more about Lotus Group coaching, I invite you to make an appointment with me or Barb Rowlandson, my other coach in the program. So we're going to talk about visibility, and I purposely chose this picture today because I really wanted to show how, like, my face is sort of in the half screen, right? Because I know that visibility is hard for caregiving professionals. And also, I like to call you all heart-centered entrepreneurs because caregiving professionals are used to being in the background. And so putting ourselves out front as the expert can often be really super challenging for us. So we are on day 3, as I said, and we are going to be using the purposeful empowerment formula. Clarity plus visibility plus valuing your worth plus branding will give you the foundation for a sustainable business to empower others. So, who am I? Well, my name is Amory Zanzel, and I am a serial entrepreneur now. I graduated from Yale Divinity School, and I'm a graduate of the Women's Leadership Institute from Hartford Seminary. I am an ordained minister in the Progressive United Church of Christ. I am also a bereavement counselor trained by the Miss Foundation. I'm an adult development and training expert trained by Girl Scouts USA, and I also received a diversity training certificate from Girl Scouts USA. I am the owner of Amory Zanzel Coaching. I am, as I said, a serial entrepreneur. I am the owner of Purposeful Empowerment, and I am the general contractor for 3 house renovations, which I'm pretty proud of. And I know how to do that not crafty stuff, that building stuff. And I am also a hospice chaplain. So we had some homework last night around clarity. And if you have any thoughts or ideas that you've had from completing the homework assignment, I would love to hear from you. So today we are going to talk about brand visibility. And as you progress through the program of purposeful empowerment, you will realize that you, in the beginning, are your brand. And one of our desires is to help you become comfortable with visibility and perhaps even enjoy it. So, why is visibility so hard for heart-centered entrepreneurs? Well, I think one of the reasons why visibility is so hard for heart-centered entrepreneurs is I alluded it in the beginning of this presentation. I think it's hard because we are used to taking a back seat. We are used to taking care of people quietly with ethics and also with real empathy for them. And so we are not used to putting ourselves front and center in a conversation. We are used to being the supporter of the conversation or the guider of the conversation. But when we start to work with visibility, we begin to realize that we are now putting ourselves forward as the expert and we are taking that spotlight, right? And shining in on us. And so a lot of times it's super hard for people who've been in the caregiving professions to move from being the supporter, the helper, the guider, the therapist, the coach, the educator, and any of the other modalities in which I work with. It is hard for us to make ourselves front and center because with visibility, we are shining that light on ourselves. And a lot of us technically don't like it. I'm going to tell you that visibility for me has been hard and also continues to be hard. One of the things that I am no longer uncomfortable posting on any of the social media accounts like Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, any of those, because I actually see them as a way to grow my business. And so I see them as part of my business model that I share on social media. Um, but it's still uncomfortable sometimes. I notice that I often struggle with, being vulnerable on social media. And that is the part in which it's important because we really want to be vulnerable and add value every time we post content to people's lives. And so, as a professional caretaker, as a chaplain, a bereavement counselor, as well and especially in those two roles, as a minister, I learned to take a back seat. I learned to let the patient, the client, the congregant shine, and it was their turn to be in the spotlight. And so the spotlight for me has been hard and honestly continues to be hard, but I'm not uncomfortable with it anymore. It is just something I know I have to do is to build my brand and build my business. So, more visibility is more power, and more power means you'll have more vulnerability. What do I mean by that? Is when we become visible, people start to look at us as an expert and a guide. But then you're also become more vulnerable, especially if you're on social media. I'll share that whenever I go outside of the queer spaces for the work I do and talk about my queerness or being a lesbian, I often get a lot of negative comments and comments from people. There's a lot of homophobia out there, and so I have to sort of be uh, prepared for that when I do that. So I also have to be in a right frame of mind because sometimes I can handle it and I'm fine. Sometimes I am not. And so when you start to share more and more of your life online, in your blog post, on your podcast, you are more and more vulnerable because people are beginning to see who you really are. So, how to increase business vulnerability? Yesterday, we really sort of began to think about what are the demographics, and I didn't mention this yesterday, but the psychographics of our target audience. The psychographics is how they think about psychologically and sociology, how they perceive themselves. That's what the psychographics are. So we have to really narrow in on our target audience before we go into the visibility stage in our business. Now, these are logos, right? These are instantly recognizable logos because Nike, Patagonia, Harley Davidson, Apple, which doesn't even have their name on it, and Coca-Cola have branded themselves. So we see those logos, we know what brand we're dealing with. So when you create your logo, when you have your colors and your fonts, people will see that logo and they will know that it's instantly associated with you. As many of you know, I have used the lotus with the white clearing in the center for a long time. That is my logo that I created myself. I had somebody create it for me, but with my guidance, Ella created it for me. And so I use it everywhere. In fact, I have it on coffee cups that I send to people as gifts. So I use that logo to promote myself. So one of the things that I mentioned yesterday too is that you really have to think about as you approach visibility, what is the best social media platform for you? And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to use every single one of them. That feels so overwhelming. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure what Douyin and Telegram is. So I use three social media platforms for my brand. I use Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I used to use TikTok, but I don't really like it anymore. And because I find it's becoming more and more and more and more commercials, right? So, but it may be the social media platform for your brand. It's just not for me. So my ideal customers are typically 40 plus. So my 40 plus folks are on the two apps that I have chosen to use for my business. And I further section them down by this. Facebook and Instagram, I really focus on the later in life stuff, while YouTube, I am focusing on purposeful empowerment and the business growing side of my business. So, how do you determine which one is right for you? You have to think about your target audience and where they spend their time online. Different demographics favor different platforms. So do your research. Off the top of my head, older people switch between 40 and above, go to Facebook and uh, Instagram, while people younger than 40, and especially the younger, like the under 30 crowd, really favor YouTube and TikTok. And also, next, consider the type of content you plan to share. Some platforms like Instagram are more visible, while others are better suited for text-based updates like Facebook. So think about your goals. Are you looking to drive your traffic to your website, increase brand awareness, or engage with your audience? And they have different strengths and weaknesses. So choose the one that's best for you. Now, there is something called Facebook groups for business. I have used my Facebook groups, like my later in life groups. I have two. They have about 1,500 and 3,200 in them, respectively. They are basically my holding containers for possible potential clients. I add value to those groups, I add content to those groups, and occasionally someone will get to know me through those groups and then end up buying. But I also are using our group here to be a container for my presentation this week. Another way to do that is to enhance your website's appeal and optimize SEO by elevating its performance. So that is where Anna MP comes in. I really, really believe that working with her changed my business because I am SEO optimized, and people can find me on the web. Let me just share some information with you right here. Hold on one second. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Do, 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 do. So I'm going to challenge you right now, if you're watching this, to look for me on the internet. So I want you to go and Google those search words. Google toaster oven lesbian, signs you are not a straight woman, signs you're not a straight man, signs you are gay, lesbian relationship, or recovering from your first lesbian relationship. I will actually drop these in the chat so you can go and look at them. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because we purposely, to make myself more found organically, was that we basically SEO optimized some of my blog pieces so people could find me that way. And now I rank on the first page of Google for all of these search engine. When people go into Google and they search, "Am I a late in life lesbian?" they find me because I have my website has been SEO optimized. So, another way to really engage your audience is by email and SMS. SMS is texting. So, in the beginning of your business, one of the things that's really important to do, and I did not, is to gather all the emails that addresses that you can or phone numbers so that you can stay in contact with your customers. So, the reason why is when you are running a special or when something is going on with you, you are able to contact them and let them know. Um, I really highly, highly encourage you to have what is called a lead magnet on your website. So when you have a website, you have something people can download for free. And so you capture their email when they download whatever you're going to give them away for free. There are other ways to do lead magnets as well. For example, in my Facebook groups, if somebody wants me to join, I ask them for my email. I'm going to caveat this. Sometimes people don't give it to me, but I don't care. I let them into the group anyway. The purpose of the group is to serve this community. If people give me the email, that's wonderful. But if they don't, I don't penalize them for that. I'm going to be really honest with you. I haven't really done a lot of work with SMS list or SMS and texting yet. I've been capturing phone numbers for a while now. And one of the things is that you do have to get your phone number approved by some agency that you will find out about it. Excuse me, your business approved when you sign up for a website that helps you send text messages. It's usually with what is called a CMS, like a customer management system website, where you can send texts to people or group texts to people, and you often have to have your business approved for the work that it's going to be doing. And so one of the things that you need to do is it takes a couple of weeks to get approved. So make sure if you're going to start texting that you get that all set up a month in advance of when your actual project is going to be taking place. So as I said, create a sign up form on your website, offer a lead magnet such as a free book or a webinar. Use social media to promote your email list and encourage followers to sign up. Host a contest or a giveaway that requires participants to provide their email address. And attend events. In-person interactions are still really, really important in growing visibility. There are several ways you can do that, and I'll get to that in a minute. Add a sign-up link to your email signature to capture new subscribers. And also offer a referral program to incentivize current subscribers to share and grow your email list. So if you enjoy my email, please forward this to somebody else and then have a sign-up form for the person to be able to sign up for your email list. So one of the next things I think is really important to talk about is networking in person. We're so used to this digital world these days that oftentimes we forget about the opportunity to attend in-person networking. It's really, really important. And so I'm going to give you some suggestions of places you can network with. So BNI, Business Networking International, the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary International, Toastmasters International, Young Professionals Network, National Associations of Women Business Owners, Entrepreneur Organization, the Association of Latino Professionals for America, and the list goes on and on and on. My wife is a member of the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce. She's a professional photographer, so she is certified. She's a certified lesbian. And she is able to, when you become certified, So, for example, okay, so now another thing that's important to remember is that municipalities, government organizations, corporations often have what's called a diversity spend. A diversity spend is that they have to spend a portion of their money on people who are, they call them minority owned businesses, but I sort of have to laugh about that because people who are not white are actually the majority in this world. But they are called minority owned businesses. For ease of discussion, I'm going to use that. So they have a diversity spend for minority owned businesses. So, for example, if you're a woman, if you're Latino or Latina, if you're Black, or if you're gay, you can get certified for as a minority business, so that you will have access for the diversity spend. And oftentimes that pushes you a little bit further on the head of the list for a buy. Now, sometimes you can be all three things. For example, if you're African American and you're a woman and you're gay, and you're a lesbian or bi, you can actually have certifications and three different types of minorities. And that can actually push you further and further on the list, because the companies love when they click as many boxes as they possibly can on the diversity spends. Now, sometimes companies use this nefariously. Do you know that most of the construction companies in the United States are owned by women? Basically, oftentimes somebody's wife, so that these construction companies can take advantage of the diversity spends. So, of course, I'm only advising you to do this ethically. So, um, another way that you can expand your visibility is by having a podcast. So, some of you found me through Queer Business Success, which is my podcast that I have that highlights queer business owners. So, that is one podcast that I have. And my other podcast is Coming Out and Beyond. And Coming Out and Beyond is actually probably my most successful gatherer of leads over the last couple years, because a lot of my new clients have found me through Coming Out and Beyond for my Lotus Group coaching. So I'm sort of laughing because the last time I did this presentation about visibility, I gave so much more information. And when I was done, my colleague Barb Rollinson was with me. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you turned on the fire hose." So one of my goals today was to give you some really helpful information, but not turn on the fire hose. So in our Facebook group today, or in the YouTube, there will be a link for my social media optimization guide. And my goal for you for tonight, for your homework, is to optimize one of your social media accounts to make it visible for your ideal clients or ideal customers. So that is all that I have today. I am so grateful
Okay, so
for
I said
you.
this in group the other day, and Anne Marie asked me to say it in a video. So here you go. When I started my journey as a life coach, the coaching was easy. I had been a school counselor for 16 years, so the coaching came very naturally to me. However, the business part did not. Marketing, really dialing in on my niche, etc. And so what I was saying to one of my group members is that they're actually really, really lucky to have found Anne Marie when they did, because they're at the beginning of their business. And it would have saved me a lot of time and headache if I had had someone to lead me down the path of what clients did I want to serve, what problem did I want to solve, and to really dial in on that. And that is what Anne Marie leads her group members to do, and purposeful empowerment. And since joining, luckily gone down the freeway, right? From a country road to a freeway. And now I'm really moving quickly because I have spent the time through various activities that she's given us to really figure out who my client is, how I want to help them, and how I want to be of service to the world and use my own passion and purpose to serve other people. So, yeah, I hope you have a great day.
So that was my former client, Laura Nichols, who does a lot with pivots. So if you're somebody who's in a middle of a major life pivot, she's the girl for you. And I would love to connect you with her if you need to speak with her. So schedule an appointment with me to talk about your business and get really one-on-one insight. My team and I, Anna, MP, and I really understand how to start, grow, and build a business. And we really want to work with LGBTQ entrepreneurs because we believe that it is really, really important to empower our community and also to empower our community so that they can empower others. So I hope I get to talk to you soon. Anna will be here tomorrow to talk all about branding, and I am so glad that you have joined me today. Do your homework. Optimize one of your social media pages. All right. Have a great day. Bye bye.